forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be notified of future episodes. We had a wonderful time in Northland, but once we got back to the Bay of Islands, it was all go. We had about 6 weeks before we were due to head north to Fiji for the winter, but this time, instead of heading south again to avoid the cyclone season, the plan was to continue north, island hopping over the equator to the Marshall Islands. We spent a few days at the berth in the marina and then picked up a mooring ball near a poor. This made reprovisioning and preparing double trouble a whole heap easier. Before heading offshore, we also had a number of boat jobs we wanted to complete. We had quite a few safety items to tick off the list, the main one being replacing our life raft.
Just wait for it to come around the corner and splash.
Rob from Northland Spars and Rigging came on board to do a routine rig check. Didn't go that well. He's just identified quite a major issue with our mast.
With the step, yeah.
More on that later. First item on the list was to reupholster our saloon cushions.
So we are just out and about, and our rental car, we parked up and we just went to start it, and the battery's flat. So we are now going down this way to see if we can find somebody who will be able to jumpstart us and we'll maybe buy a battery from them.
This is John from Kerry Diesel Services by the looks of things, and he is our knight in shining armour. John has successfully started the car for us. Thank you so very much indeed. We've been to this place here, Bindham's, bought a new battery, installed the new battery, the old one's in the back of the car.
Now it's time to go shopping.
Can we get on with our shopping now? And as if one battery issue wasn't enough, this time we had quite a major one. One of our Victron solar controllers overcharged and damaged our less than 2-year-old house batteries. Not an easy or cheap fix.
Our solar was charging at 15 volts, which our batteries are not meant to get more than 14. So it turns out we have a faulty charge controller on one of the solar arrays, and it keeps losing its programming. You've got a hardware switch on it, and you've also got a software switch, and it keeps moving to a different hardware switch that is giving us massive overvoltage alarms on everything, including all the engines.
Which was fun when we were trying to drop the anchor.
Yeah, we had to turn everything off, basically.
It was a little bit dangerous, but yeah.
So I've spoken to Victron already, and current state of play is they want this unit back to evaluate before we get a replacement. But
which is clever because it means we can't run the boat.
We can't run the boat on that unless we go into a marina. So I'm just going to go and do an assessment now, see what we can get working. So
this is what happens when we have to get into our battery bay. Rob disappears into the bowels of the boat. It's very odd, isn't it? Like when we got back to the boat yesterday, the alarm was going off, but today it's gone absolutely haywire.
We have had some issues with the batteries over the last couple of days. Our solar controller changed its charge profile, but also we've had a little bit of cloud, but the batteries don't seem to be holding charge when overnight, and they woke us up at 3 in the morning. One of the alarms went off and the batteries were very low. We're going to take this apart and see if we measure the batteries and see if we've got a bad cell or if it was just the voltage was low, and we'll see what we find out.
And all this when we're about to leave the boat on a mooring?
Yeah, we're about to leave it on a mooring, so the worry with the solar controller is that it randomly just changes, so there's a warranty replacement due in about 2 or 3 weeks. And also we're going to Fiji in a month, so if there is a bad battery then we've got to organise a solution there as well. So
we're going to Fiji in 2 weeks.
Sorry, yeah, less than a month.
Yeah,
sorry, time is fleeting.
Early o'clock again on Tuesday morning. We're going to pick up our saloon cushions very quickly up in Kerry. They look splendid. Oh, you put buttons in. Lovely.
Yeah.
They look good.
Yeah, it's braceable that flame so.
Oh, they look much nicer, eh? Is that better?
No squash.
No squash zone.
That's really good.
Thank you, Peter,
Really nice.
for an awesome job. Well, I think that's a bit of a ta-da moment, don't you?
Very nice.
It's a still day here today, isn't it? Where are you off to, Angel Face? In Dave?
I'm going to get Rob the rigger.
Are we going to be robbed by the rigger?
I don't know.
He's going to come and do us a rig check
Yes.
in preparation for our journey to Fiji.
Moving.
He's just identified quite a major issue with our mast.
With the step, yeah.
So yeah.
It's going to be fun. See what else comes out of the conversation.
Don't find anything expensive.
No such thing as a yacht. Hold that.
Just on that edge.
Just on that edge, you'll be able to, be able to run your finger on it and feel that it's, it's quite sharp.
The rigger has identified a couple of problems. The first is that one of our shrouds is damaged. That needs replacement, and because one side is needing replacement, then they have to do the other side so that they kind of bend and do their thing in the same way. He also identified that our mast isn't sitting square on the boat at the bottom. And what it's actually doing is leaning forward. Imagine somebody on tiptoes. That is what's happening. So the front lip is touching, and the back of the mast is raised essentially. So there's a little bit of wobble there. As part of that, we now have stress fractures starting and beginning on the front leading edge of the mast. That means that we have to take our mast down. He then puts it into the shop, shaves the bottom off the mast, repacks it back up, repairs it, and puts it back on the boat. Expected time for that is a week to 2 weeks. And we're planning on going offshore in a week to 2 weeks. So today is Sunday. The earliest that they think they can take the mast off will be Thursday, but we're going to be on and off the boat. There is absolutely no wind today, so that is a perfect opportunity for us to take our sails off the boat and get things ready to take the mast off.
We have our rig checked every year, and worryingly, this was the first time that this problem had been spotted. Our departure may have been delayed, but we were very relieved to have had this identified and rectified before heading offshore.
So today is a beautiful day in Opua, and it's such a nice day, we are going to take this down. So we're going to take it off, give it all a good service, and put it all back on. I've just pulled all of the cables through the mast, and we're going to go over to the wharf, and someone's going to catch our lines, and we're going to hoist this baby off.
So yeah, that's the boom off.
10mm cover that will take us into fresh material.
After marking up and scribing the base of the mast and checking the final measurements, the riggers, who are also called Rob and Joe, gave us a quick safety briefing, and then we set to work preparing the mast for removal. All sounds so straightforward.
Well, we did one yesterday and that kind of went all right, didn't it, Joe?
Oh, what, you've done this before? Oh wow, okay.
Well, yesterday, this will be the second one.
Oh, that's awesome. There you go then. Nothing like experience.
Exactly. That's good, it means we're more experienced than you guys.
Yeah, hell yeah, exactly. We've never done this at all. Joking aside, the team at Northland Spars and Rigging did a fantastic job. The logistics of taking a mast off a boat are never simple, but these guys worked quickly and efficiently. Within a couple of hours, the mast was safely on its cradle on the shore. We had new fittings on order from Zed's Spa in the US, so all that we could do now was to wait for them to arrive. However, this would give us time to do a few service jobs while the mast was down. So jobs are good and mast down, and we are ready to go and put DT back on the mooring. Yay! It's another one you can add to your CV now then, number 2.
That's my third.
Thanks ever so much, guys. DT is mastless.
Yeah, back on the mooring, and we're heading in now to work on the mast ourselves.
Save some coin,
Yeah, learn some stuff.
get some bits and bobs off it so that Rob and Joe, that still makes me laugh, Rob and Joe can work on it.
Yep.
We're about to start the task of dismantling everything. Right, let's crack on then. We've got all the stays off, taking the diamonds down.
Rings around.
Just get the all the clutter off the top. It's very straightforward. We learned a lot about rigging by doing that.
Yeah.
All this stuff is next. The wind thingy and the aerial. Got to come off. Rob is here now. We're going to move the mast down to the workshop, and then it'll be nearly beer o'clock. It's the beer finding instrument. Oh, it's that way. Oh, that way. That way. So, with no mast and broken batteries, it looked like our trip to Fiji was going to be delayed for a few weeks. And what a busy few weeks they turned out to be. Join us next week as we race against the clock to get Double Trouble shipshape again. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, then please give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment below.